Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that the day you stop waiting is the day your life finally begins? What if the breakthrough you've been praying for isn't waiting around the corner, but waiting for one decision? Listen carefully. This message is not for people looking for comfort. It's for people who are tired of excuses, tired of average, and ready to become unstoppable. Here's the truth most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid. Nobody is coming to save you. No perfect opportunity. No miracle. No magical moment. The rescue you've been waiting for is you. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, if someone would just give me one chance, everything would change? What if I told you that the biggest thing standing between you and the life you want isn't a lack of opportunity? It's the belief that someone else has to unlock your future. Listen carefully, because this idea has the power to transform everything. Nobody is coming to save you. That isn't a harsh statement. It's one of the most empowering truths you'll ever hear. The day you stop waiting for someone else to change your life is the day your real life finally begins. Most people spend years waiting for the perfect mentor, the perfect job, the perfect relationship, the perfect timing, or the perfect break. They believe success arrives like a gift, but success has never worked that way. It has always belonged to the people who decided to move before they felt ready, who acted before they had guarantees, and who chose responsibility over excuses. Think about the people you admire most. They didn't become extraordinary because life was easy. They became extraordinary because they reached a moment where they realized that if they wanted a different future, they had to become a different person. They stopped expecting the world to hand them opportunities and started creating opportunities with their own actions. That's the shift that changes everything. The world begins to respond differently when you stop waiting and start leading your own life. Here's the question that can completely change your future. If nobody ever showed up to rescue you, what would you do differently starting today? Would you finally wake up earlier? Would you stop wasting hours scrolling through your phone? Would you begin learning that skill you've been putting off? Would you take care of your health? Would you launch that business, apply for that job, or chase that dream you've been talking about for years? Deep down, you already know the answers. The problem has never been that you didn't know what to do. The problem has been waiting for permission. Let me tell you something powerful. You don't need permission to improve your life. You only need a decision. Far too many people hand over control of their future without even realizing it. They blame their parents for how they were raised. They blame the economy for their financial struggles. They blame their boss, their friends, their past mistakes, or the lack of support they received. While they're busy pointing fingers, life keeps moving forward. Every minute spent blaming someone else is a minute you could have spent building the future you deserve. Responsibility is not about blaming yourself for everything that happened. Responsibility is about recognizing that from this moment forward, your response determines your direction. You cannot rewrite yesterday, but you can absolutely redefine tomorrow. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who never struggled. They're the ones who refuse to let struggle become their identity. They understood that pain can either become an excuse or fuel. Rejection can either stop you or strengthen you. Failure can either become the end of your story or the beginning of your transformation. The difference is never the obstacle. The difference is the decision. Champions don't ask, why is this happening to me? They ask, how can I grow because of this? That single change in mindset separates ordinary people from extraordinary achievers. Every morning you wake up, life gives you a choice. You can continue waiting for someone to recognize your potential, or you can start proving it through relentless action. You can keep hoping someone will motivate you, or you can build a discipline that doesn't depend on motivation. You can continue believing your circumstances define you, or you can become the person who rises above every circumstance. The choice belongs to you, and it always has. Here's something most people never realize. Confidence doesn't arrive before action. Confidence is created because of action. The first workout feels difficult. The first business idea feels uncertain. The first speech feels terrifying. The first step always feels uncomfortable because you've never been there before. But every courageous action sends a message to your mind, I am stronger than my fear. That's how confidence is built, not by waiting, but by moving. Imagine looking back 1 year from today. One version of you spent another year waiting for someone to open a door. The other version became the person who built the door, knocked it down, or created an entirely new path. Which version becomes reality depends on one decision, whether you continue waiting or finally take ownership of your life. The greatest gift you can give yourself is the understanding that your future is not sitting in someone else's hands. It has been in yours all along. The moment you stop waiting to be rescued is the moment you discover the strength, courage, and determination that have been inside you from the very beginning. Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. What excuse have you repeated so many times that you started believing it's the truth? Is it, I'm too busy, I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have enough money, I don't have the right connections? Here's the reality that separates winners from everyone else. Every excuse you accept becomes a prison you build for yourself. Excuses don't just delay success. They quietly steal your confidence, your momentum, and your future. They make you feel productive because you're explaining why you can't move forward, when in reality, you're standing completely still. The moment you stop defending your excuses is the moment you finally give yourself permission to grow. Think about it for a second. Every dream you've ever had demands a price. Success asks for discipline, growth asks for sacrifice, excellence asks for consistency. But excuses offer you something much easier. They offer comfort. They whisper, skip today, start tomorrow, you deserve a break, wait until conditions are better. That voice sounds harmless, but has destroyed more dreams than failure ever could. Failure teaches you. Excuses convince you not to try. That's why excuses are far more dangerous than making mistakes. Mistakes can make you stronger. Excuses only make you weaker. Here's a powerful truth. Your future doesn't care about your reasons. It responds to your actions. The world doesn't reward the person with the best explanation. It rewards the person who shows up, adapts, learns, and refuses to quit. Imagine two people stand in the same starting line. One spends all day explaining why success is impossible. The other starts taking imperfect action. 12 months later, who do you think has changed their life? The difference isn't talent. The difference isn't luck. The difference is that one person moved while the other remained trapped inside a story they kept telling themselves. Excuses are often disguised as logic. They sound intelligent. They sound reasonable. You tell yourself, I'll start when I have more experience. I'll wait until I have enough savings. I'll begin after life settles down, but life rarely settles down. There will always be another challenge, another unexpected expense, another reason to delay your dreams. If you keep waiting for perfect conditions, you'll spend your entire life waiting. Progress belongs to those who are willing to begin before everything is perfect. The most successful people in the world don't have fewer problems than everyone else. They simply refuse to let problems become permanent excuses. They understand that obstacles are part of the journey, not a signal to stop. They ask different questions. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? They ask, what can I do with what I have right now? That shift changes everything. When your focus moves from blame to action, your power returns. Energy follows focus. And when you focus on solutions instead of excuses, your life begins to move in a completely different direction. Look honestly at your daily habits. Every time you hit the snooze button instead of getting up, every time you choose distraction over progress, every time you postpone the work that matters most, you're reinforcing the belief that comfort is more important than your goals. Success isn't lost in one dramatic moment. It's lost in small compromises repeated day after day. In the same way, greatness isn't built through one extraordinary effort. It's built by making the right decision when nobody's watching. Every disciplined choice strengthens your character. Every excuse weakens it. Here's another question that could transform your life. What if every excuse disappeared tomorrow? What would you finally be forced to do? Chances are you already know exactly what needs to happen. You know the book you need to read. You know the skill you need to learn. You know the conversation you've been avoiding. You know the commitment you've been postponing. The answers have never been hidden from you. What's been missing is the courage to act despite discomfort. The truth is, excuses don't protect your future. They protect your fears. They keep you in familiar territory where you never have to risk failure, rejection, or uncertainty. But they also keep you from discovering your true potential. The people who build extraordinary lives aren't fearless. They simply decide that their dreams matter more than their excuses. The moment you stop negotiating with yourself and start honoring your commitments, you become a different person. You begin earning self-respect, building momentum, and proving through your actions that your future is worth fighting for. That's the moment excuses lose their power and your transformation truly begins. Let me challenge you with a question that could completely change the direction of your life. What happens when your motivation disappears? Do you stop? Do you wait until you feel inspired again? Or do you keep moving anyway? This is where the gap between average people and extraordinary performers becomes impossible to ignore. Motivation is exciting, emotional, and powerful, but it is also temporary. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what needs to be done. And the people who build remarkable lives are not the ones who are motivated every day. They are the ones who remain committed even on the days they feel nothing at all. Think about the greatest athletes, business leaders, and high achievers in the world. Do you believe they wake up every morning filled with excitement and endless energy? Of course not. They have difficult days. They experience doubt, frustration, and exhaustion just like everyone else. The difference is that they refuse to let their emotions become the decision makers. They understand a principle that changes everything. Feelings are temporary, but disciplined actions create permanent results. While most people wait for motivation to arrive, champions have already started working. By the time others are still making excuses, disciplined people have already taken another step toward their goals. Here's something most people never realize. Every time you only work when you feel motivated, you're training your mind to believe that emotions are in control. But every time you act, despite discomfort, despite fear, despite laziness, you're teaching your brain a completely different lesson. You're telling yourself, my commitment is stronger than my emotions. That lesson becomes part of your identity. And once discipline becomes part of who you are, success stops feeling like luck and starts becoming inevitable. Imagine two people chasing the exact same dream. One works only when they feel inspired. They have incredible days, followed by weeks of doing nothing because the excitement fades. The other person follows a routine. They show up whether they feel confident or uncertain, energized or exhausted. They keep learning, improving, and taking action every single day. Fast forward 1 year, who has built more confidence? Who has developed more skill? Who has created more opportunities? The answer is obvious. Consistency will always outperform occasional bursts of motivation. The truth is, your future isn't built by the things you do once in a while. It's built by the things you refuse to stop doing. Every workout strengthens more than your body. It strengthens your ability to keep promises to yourself. Every chapter you read expands more than your knowledge. It develops your discipline to continue learning. Every early morning, every difficult conversation, every uncomfortable decision is another vote for the person you're becoming. Success isn't hidden inside one giant breakthrough. It's hidden inside thousands of small actions repeated with relentless consistency. Let's be honest. There will be mornings when your bed feels more comfortable than your goals. There will be evenings when distractions seem more appealing than progress. There will be moments when quitting sounds easier than continuing. That's exactly why discipline matters. If success only belonged to people who always felt motivated, almost nobody would achieve greatness. But discipline gives you the power to keep moving long after excitement disappears. It allows you to perform at a high level even when your emotions are working against you. Here's another powerful truth. Discipline is the highest form of self-respect. Every time you honor your commitments instead of your excuses, you prove to yourself that your dreams matter. You begin trusting yourself because your actions match your words. Confidence grows because you're no longer depending on hope. You've built a system that keeps you moving. Momentum replaces hesitation. Progress replaces procrastination. The life you've always wanted stops feeling distant because you're creating it, one disciplined decision at a time. Remember, motivation can start your journey, but it will never finish it. The finish line belongs to those who continue when nobody's watching, when the applause has disappeared, and when the excitement has faded. They understand that discipline is not punishment, it's freedom. It's the freedom to control your choices instead of allowing your emotions to control you. It's the freedom to build habits that carry you through difficult seasons. And when you master discipline, you no longer have to wonder whether you'll reach your goals, because every single day your actions are already taking you there. Let me ask you a question most people spend their entire lives avoiding. What would you do if fear no longer had the power to control your decisions? Would you finally start that business? Would you speak up instead of staying silent? Would you apply for the opportunity you've been dreaming about? Would you step outside your comfort zone and become the person you're capable of being? Here's the truth that separates extraordinary people from everyone else. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward while fear is still standing beside you. Fear is a natural part of growth. It doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. More often than not, it means you're standing at the edge of a breakthrough. Think back to every meaningful achievement in your life. The first time you learned a new skill, the first big interview, the first presentation, the first difficult conversation, the first bold decision. You probably felt nervous. Your heart raced, your mind filled with doubts. Yet the moment you acted, something changed. You discovered that fear was never the wall you imagined it to be. It was a doorway. On the other side of that doorway was confidence, experience, and a stronger version of yourself. Every successful person you admire has walked through that same doorway, not because they were fearless, but because they refused to let fear make their decisions. Here's something powerful to remember. Fear has a voice, but it doesn't deserve your vote. It will tell you that you're not ready, not talented enough, not experienced enough, or that now isn't the right time. It will convince you to stay comfortable because comfort feels safe, but comfort has a hidden cost. It keeps your dreams small. It limits your growth. It steals opportunities you'll never get back. Every year, people look back with regret, not because they failed, but because they never had the courage to try. The pain of temporary fear fades quickly. The pain of lifelong regret can last forever. Your comfort zone may feel secure, but nothing extraordinary has ever been built inside it. Growth begins the moment you choose discomfort over convenience. Every challenge you accept expands your confidence. Every obstacle you overcome strengthens your character. Every risk you take teaches you something valuable, whether you succeed immediately or not. Life doesn't reward people for avoiding difficulty. It rewards people who are willing to grow through it. Imagine standing at the bottom of a mountain you've always wanted to climb. One person stares at the peak and decides it's too difficult. They turn around and spend years wondering what might have happened if they had tried. Another person feels the exact same fear but takes the first step anyway. They don't know every twist in the path. They don't have every answer, but they trust that each step will reveal the next. 1 month later, they're standing at the top, not because the journey was easy, but because they refused to let uncertainty stop them. Success isn't reserved for the people with the least fear. It's reserved for the people who keep climbing despite it. The greatest battles you'll ever fight won't happen in the outside world. They'll happen inside your own mind. One voice will whisper, play it safe. Don't risk failure. Stay where it's comfortable. Another voice will remind you, you were created for more. You didn't come this far just to remain where you are. Every single day, those voices compete for control. The one that grows stronger is the one you choose to obey. Feed courage with action, and fear begins to lose its grip. Feed fear with hesitation, and it becomes stronger than your dreams. Here's the secret that high achievers understand. Confidence is earned, not given. You don't wake up one morning suddenly fearless. You build confidence by doing the things that once intimidated you. Every difficult decision becomes evidence that you're capable of more than you believed. Every challenge overcome becomes proof that your limits were never fixed. They were only imagined. That's why action is so powerful. It transforms uncertainty into experience and doubt into belief. The opportunities you've been waiting for aren't hidden in the places where you feel comfortable. They're waiting in the conversations you're afraid to have, the goals you're afraid to chase, and the risks you're afraid to take. Every bold action sends a message to your mind that says, I refuse to let fear write my story. And the more often you send that message, the more unstoppable you become. Fear may always walk beside you, but it never has to lead you. The moment you decide that your purpose is greater than your fear is the moment your life begins to move in a direction you once thought was impossible. Let me ask you one question that could completely reshape the way you see your future. If your daily habits never changed, where would your life be 1 year from today? Take a moment and answer that honestly. Not where you hope you'll be, not where you wish you'll be. Where will you actually be if you continue making the exact same choices every single day? That's the reality most people refuse to face. They dream about extraordinary success while repeating ordinary habits. They want a different future without becoming a different person. But here's the truth that every high achiever understands. Your future is not created by your intentions. It is created by your daily decisions. Every small choice you make is casting a vote for the person you're becoming. Most people underestimate the incredible power of consistency because they're obsessed with immediate results. They expect one workout to transform their body, one book to transform their mindset, or one opportunity to transform their career. But life doesn't work that way. Success is never built in one dramatic moment. It is built quietly, one decision at a time, one habit at a time, one disciplined action after another. The little things you do repeatedly may seem insignificant today, but over time they become the foundation of extraordinary life. Small actions, repeated consistently, create massive transformation. Think about a single drop of water. One drop seems powerless, but imagine that same drop falling in the exact same place every single day, year after year. Eventually, it can carve through solid rock. That's the power of consistency. It's not about intensity for one day. It's about commitment every day. Your habits work the same way. Every early morning, you choose discipline over comfort. Every page you read instead of wasting time, every workout you complete when nobody is watching, every promise you keep to yourself is slowly shaping your character. You may not notice the change overnight, but make no mistake, it is happening. Here's something powerful to remember. Every decision you make is either building your future or barring against it. When you choose growth over distraction, you're making an investment. When you choose learning over excuses, you're increasing your value. When you choose action over procrastination, you're creating opportunities that most people will never experience. On the other hand, every time you choose comfort instead of progress, you're allowing your future potential to slip away. The choices may seem small in the moment, but they compound over time in ways that are impossible to ignore. Imagine two people starting from exactly the same place. They have similar talents, similar resources, and similar dreams. One person improves by just 1% every day. They read a little more, practice a little longer, stay focused a little better, and remain disciplined a little more consistently. The other person keeps waiting for the perfect opportunity while making the same comfortable choices. A year later, their lives look completely different, not because one person experienced a miracle, but because one person respected the power of daily decisions. Success isn't determined by one giant leap. It's earned through thousands of small steps taken without giving up. The challenge is that your mind naturally seeks instant gratification. It wants comfort now, entertainment now, and rewards now. It doesn't always recognize the value of planting seeds that won't produce fruit until months or years later. That's why so many people quit too soon. They don't see immediate results, so they assume their efforts aren't working. But the truth is, every disciplined action is creating momentum beneath the surface. Just like a tree grows its roots long before anyone sees its branches, your daily habits are strengthening your future before the world notices your success. Ask yourself this: what habits are shaping the person you're becoming right now? Are your routines moving you closer to your goals or quietly pulling you away from them? Your calendar tells the truth. Your daily actions reveal your priorities far more honestly than your words ever could. If you truly want a different life, don't wait for a different year, a different season, or a different opportunity. Begin by changing what you do today. Remember, greatness is rarely the result of one extraordinary decision. It is the result of ordinary decisions made with extraordinary consistency. Every sunrise gives you another opportunity to write a new chapter through your choices. Every hour offers another chance to act with purpose instead of emotion. When you commit to winning each day instead of chasing overnight success, you begin building a future that is stronger, wiser, and more fulfilling than you ever imagined. The life you dream about isn't created someday. It is created one disciplined choice at a time, starting with the decision you make right now. Before we go any further, I want you to answer one question with complete honesty. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and truly believed you were becoming the person you were meant to be? Not the person others expect you to become, not the version shaped by fear, doubt, or society's opinions, the person you know deep inside you were created to become. Every one of us has two versions living within us. One settles for comfort, makes excuses, and avoids challenges. The other refuses to quit, embraces growth, and reaches for a life of purpose. The battle between those two versions is happening every single day. And the winner is determined by the choices you make, not by the circumstances you face. The greatest tragedy in life is not failure. The greatest tragedy is spending years living far below your true potential because you're too afraid to believe in yourself. So many people allow fear, criticism, and past disappointments to define who they are. They shrink their dreams to fit their comfort zone instead of expanding their mindset to match their dreams. They become prisoners of other people's expectations, forgetting that the only opinion that truly determines their future is the one they hold about themselves. The moment you stop seeking permission to become extraordinary is the moment your transformation truly begins. Here's something that can completely change the way you see your life. The person you want to become is built by the decisions you make when nobody is watching. Character isn't created in moments of applause. It's revealed in moments of discipline. It's revealed when you choose to work while others are making excuses, when you continue learning while others stop growing, and when you stay committed even after the excitement fades. Success is never an accident. It is the visible result of invisible habits practiced consistently over time. Every decision you make is shaping your identity, whether you realize it or not. Ask yourself another powerful question. If your future self walked into this room today, would they recognize the choices you're making right now? Would they see someone committed to growth or someone trapped in procrastination? Would they see courage or would they see hesitation? Your future isn't waiting somewhere in the distance. It's being created by the person you choose to be today. Every hour is an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more focused. Every challenge is another invitation to step into the next level of your potential. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they need perfect conditions before they can become their best. They think they need more money, more confidence, more support, or more time. But confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you earn. Every action taken despite uncertainty builds confidence. Every promise you keep to yourself builds self-respect. Every difficult decision strengthens your character. You don't become extraordinary because life becomes easy. You become extraordinary because you refuse to let difficult circumstances determine your identity. There will always be people who doubt your vision. Some will tell you your goals are unrealistic. Others will question your abilities because they cannot imagine a life bigger than their own. Don't allow someone else's limited thinking to become the ceiling on your potential. The people who make history are rarely the ones who follow the crowd. They are the ones who trust their purpose enough to keep moving forward even when nobody understands their journey. Remember, approval from others is temporary, but respect for yourself lasts a lifetime. Your greatest competition has never been another person. It has always been the version of yourself that chooses comfort over growth. Every morning you have an opportunity to defeat that version. Every disciplined habit weakens procrastination. Every courageous action silences self-doubt. Every lesson you learn expands the limits of what you believe is possible. Transformation doesn't happen at one dramatic moment. It happens through countless decisions that align your actions with your purpose. Imagine waking up 1 year from now knowing you gave everything you had, knowing you stopped making excuses, stopped waiting for perfect timing, and finally became the leader of your own life. That version of you isn't created by luck, talent, or circumstances. It is created by commitment. It is created by refusing to settle for average when greatness is possible. The person you were meant to become has been waiting patiently beneath your fears, your doubts, and your excuses. The moment you decide to trust yourself, embrace responsibility, and take bold action every single day is the moment that extraordinary version of you finally begins to take control. Today is your turning point. Today is the day you stop making excuses. Today is the day you stop blaming your past. Today is the day you stop waiting for someone else to hand you the life you deserve. Nobody is coming, and that's not bad news. It's the most empowering truth you'll ever hear, because if nobody is coming, then all the power is already in your hands. Stand up. Take responsibility, make the decision, take the first step, then take another, keep moving until your actions become your identity. Years from now, people will ask how you changed your life. They'll ask what happened, and you'll smile because you'll know the answer wasn't luck, it wasn't timing. It wasn't someone saving you, it was the moment you decided that you would save yourself. No excuses, no waiting, no limits. This is your life, this is your moment. Go create the future that only you are capable of creating.